Now, this list is not ordered or ranked or anything. It's just here's a list of games that also were played in 2016 that I got on sale, and they were tremendous. Starting it off is Infinifactory. And if you don't know Zachtronic, if you played one of Zachtronic games, which is Infinifactory, Space Chem, TSI 100, or Shenzo IO, you play one, you play them all. Because they basically invented the genre of puzzle games where it's more like problem solving, which is similar to what programmers do. So that's if you're interested in that field or job. It's you don't have to. These games are great on their own, and Infinifactory is the easiest to understand because it's in 3D, it's blocks, and boy, oh my god, this game is so great. I actually enjoy it more personally than Portal. But again, it is different than Portal. Apotheon is a Greek Metroidvania-inspired game where the combat is physics-based, where like it actually has some like flow and weight, very floaty and sometimes unresponsive. That's some complaints. But the weapons, they deteriorate and break, so you're always swapping them out. You have health and armor, so it's not like regeneration or anything. I do recommend this if you're looking for that kind of game. Here is Helldivers. And if you ever played their other game, Magica, you'll understand that friendly fire is what they love to have in their games. Because it creates hilarity and stupidity and sometimes a little bit of anger, maybe. But this game, you have mechs, you have a ton of different type of weapons and vehicles and like explosive airstrikes or whatever you want to call them that you can call in and squash your friends, accidentally kill your friends, kill bugs and robotic creatures. It's very repetitive and grindy, but it's very fun with a friend. I strongly urge your friend because playing solo, I don't play this game solo. Play online with other people, but it's still fun. Here is a sports game, which I've never played a sport game because I hate them all. But Rocket League is kind of goofy, and it's not really based on a real sport, so that's probably why I like it. Where you play as rocket-propelled cars, and you hit around a soccer ball into a goal, and it's very fun and addicting. I highly recommend it. Now here's a game I've actually already played, but I rebought on PC because I love this game. Dead Space 2 is the best of all of them. Dead Space 1 is good. PC, so there's some technical issues. Dead Space 3, bleh. But Dead Space 2 is so good. There's very few games that can do what Dead Space does, right? With the horror setting, the atmosphere, the great weapon design, great enemy design, good levels, good progression and upgrades. Overall, Dead Space 2, despite if it's scary, too scary for you, just get it. Even if you have already played it, buy it again on PC because it is... I had such a blast replaying it. Not because of nostalgia, because the game is actually good. Now here's a game that will make you probably cry maybe. If you want a survival war game, not a survival game like all those garbage early access games that we all hate because they're broken, this one is a survival game where you have to survive in the wartime environment as civilians, and killing is definitely looked down upon, not just because it's bad, but because your characters in game might even commit suicide if they do it, because they, especially if you kill people that are good, not knowing they were bad to begin with. How was I supposed to know? But it's just really good with trying to survive and caring about these characters, even though the overall story isn't good. The moment-to-moment gameplay and emergent storytelling of what can happen if things go wrong or if things go well, and you get the feels for the characters, get this war of mine. If you're looking for a good game to play co-op and just not have to worry about much at all, you can't go wrong with the Michael Bay inspired video game Broforce, where you just blow crap up as all the action heroes from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the 2000s or whatever. And you will have some fun. It's not that challenging. It's very goofy. Overall, it's just great fun. If you're looking for a good, not so difficult or in-depth turn-based combat game, Chroma Squad, I highly recommend. You don't have to be a fan or have ever cared about the stupid Power Rangers. I did watch it as a kid, but I don't give a rat's ass about it. It's stupid, they're cheesy, and the movie coming out looks gay as hell. But this game, as a game, not as a nostalgia like, hey, we're playing as Power Rangers. It's good. It's got great progression outside with your little TV management, thingamabob. You have good progression with your combat, like weapons and gear, even for your mech as well. Good customization of some abilities, like they have choices. The enemy variety isn't good, but the soundtrack, if you like chiptune or like, I don't know what you would call it, like electronic music, it's good for that too. Story is good enough to make you want to care. If you don't care about the story, you can skip it and just disregard it. But overall, Chroma Squad's pretty good. Titan Souls is a very short game because it takes what Terraria and Dark Souls do well, which is have very good designed bosses, and that's all you do is fight these bosses. You kill one, you move on to the next one. You don't have to fight them in order. Some of them you can go and fight any of them. So if one challenges you, you can move on to a different one. Overall, I recommend it if you're looking for a game and you've beaten every game that has good boss design, other than Fury. Hey, you ever heard of Bastion, where they have the narrator that talks to you, when you do stuff? They kind of do the same thing with Transistor, but it's your sword this time. The story is actually pretty decent. The combat's very good, especially you can pause and queue up attacks, and there's a lot of variety in the combos of what abilities and these, I forget what they're called now, the things that you can inject into your abilities, so you can really customize and try a lot of different cool things out. And if you die, they actually take away things, so it forces you to switch up your attack move set and combos, or whatever you want to call them. And again, Transistor, a good kind of casual RPG or action RPG, because really isn't too much RPG into it, but it's good combat and decent story and good soundtrack again. Another gold standard set by the Clyde developers, Invisible Ink. It's a turn-based stealth game where stealth is definitely a priority. Killing is definitely not something you want to do. And it's just because it's turn-based, it's not slow like XCOM or something where it can take forever for stuff to happen. You can quickly do your actions, the enemies will quickly do theirs, and there is an urgency because the longer you take, the harder and harder the levels will go. With new reinforced enemies, stronger guys, more security cameras and turrets and stuff. Overall, if you're looking for another stealth game, get Invisible Ink. Alright, I started with a puzzle game, and I'm going to end with a puzzle game because I love puzzle games. Seriously. Talos Principle. Again, I'm going to compare it to Portal because everyone knows it. I think it's as good or possibly better. I'm not being hyperbolic. I actually mean it. It doesn't have humor story. It has a very philosophical story. If you care about it, you can totally skip the story if you want. It's mostly told through interactions in the in-game computer terminals or whatever. But the puzzle design and mechanics are very well done. You have blocks, lasers, jammers for these force fields, and even co-op time manipulation that you have to do, which can really be fun to use. And some of these puzzles are really challenging. And get Talos Principle if you want another great puzzle game.